The midnight highway. The night was a dense shroud, swallowing the road ahead as I drove alone on the desolate highway. The only company I had was the rhythmic hum of the engine and the flickering glow of the dashboard. My tired eyes strained to see through the inky darkness that surrounded me, the headlights cutting through the obscurity like a knife through the void. I'd been driving for hours, a seemingly endless stretch of road that disappeared into the abyss. The silence inside the car was oppressive, broken only by the occasional crackle of the radio as I scanned futilely for a station. The monotony of the journey was suffocating, and the desolation of the night weighed heavily on my mind. As the miles ticked away, a growing unease crept into my bones. It started as a subtle whisper, a nagging feeling that something was amiss. I shook it off as mere exhaustion, the product of a long day on the road. Yet the feeling persisted, gnawing at the edges of my consciousness like a hungry predator. The landscape outside the car window became increasingly surreal. Bare, gnarled trees clawed at the sky, their twisted branches casting eerie shadows on the road. The moon, shrouded by thick clouds, intermittently bathed the surroundings in an otherworldly glow. The air grew thick with an unnatural stillness, and I could almost hear the pulse of my own heartbeat, a drumbeat signaling the encroaching darkness. I began to notice peculiar signs along the highway, faded and weather-worn. Some were warnings of dangers long past, while others seemed like cryptic messages from an unknown source. A battered sign read, "Beware the shadows," and another, "Abandon hope, all who enter." My rational mind dismissed them as remnants of a forgotten era, but a primal instinct warned that they held a significance I couldn't comprehend. With each passing mile, the road seemed to elongate, stretching into an infinite corridor of uncertainty. The landscape became a dreamscape, morphing and contorting in ways that defied logic. Shadows danced along the periphery of my vision, whispering secrets that eluded my conscious mind. I tried to shake off the growing paranoia, attributing it to the weariness that clung to my bones. The gas gauge flirted dangerously close to empty, and the realization that I was alone in a vast, enigmatic wilderness sank in. Panic clawed at the edges of my sanity, and a cold sweat coated my skin. I needed to find a gas station, a semblance of civilization in this desolate nightmare. Just as desperation set in, I spotted the dim glow of a flickering neon sign on the horizon. Relief washed over me, a fleeting respite in the relentless darkness. The sign read, "Last Stop," its letters casting long shadows that seemed to writhe like living entities. With a cautious hope, I steered the car toward the beckoning oasis. The gas station emerged from the shadows, a decrepit structure frozen in time. Rust-covered pumps stood like sentinels, and the flickering lights barely illuminated the cracked pavement. An oppressive silence hung in the air, the kind that precedes a storm. I hesitated, but the sputtering gas gauge left me with no choice. As I filled the tank, the wind whispered through the desolate landscape, carrying with it voices that seemed to echo from the depths of the forgotten past. The shadows clung to the edges of the flickering light, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to observe my every move. Inside the convenience store, a bell jingled as I pushed open the creaking door. The air was thick with the musty scent of aged decay, and the shelves were stocked with products that bore labels from a bygone era. A solitary figure stood behind the counter, a gaunt silhouette with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the veil of reality. "Welcome, traveler," the figure intoned in a voice that resonated with an eerie familiarity. "You've entered a realm beyond the mundane, a place where the threads of reality unravel." Unease crawled up my spine as I tried to make sense of the cryptic message. I stammered, "I just need gas. Can you tell me where I am?" The figure's lips curled into a semblance of a smile, though there was no warmth in its eyes. "You're on the midnight highway, a road that transcends time and space, a journey with no beginning and no end." The revelation sent a chill down my spine, and I stumbled back, my mind struggling to comprehend the surreal nature of my surroundings. The figure continued, "You've entered a liminal space where the veil between worlds is thin. The choices you make will determine your fate." Questions tumbled through my mind, but before I could voice them, the lights flickered and the figure vanished. The once familiar convenience store morphed into a decrepit chamber, the walls adorned with ethereal symbols that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Fear gripped me as I stumbled back into the night, the gas station now a spectral anomaly in the vast expanse of the midnight highway. The road ahead stretched into infinity, a nightmarish labyrinth of uncertainty. I felt like a pawn in a cosmic game, a puppet whose strings were pulled by forces beyond comprehension. As I drove deeper into the abyss, the very fabric of reality seemed to warp and twist. The road beneath me became a living entity, undulating like the surface of a dark ocean. The car's headlights illuminated phantasmagorical scenes that defied reason. A forest of spectral trees, a city of towering spires that reached into the void, and an endless expanse of desolation where time itself seemed to unravel. The air inside the car grew heavy with an oppressive energy, and the shadows that clung to the periphery of the highway took on a malevolent sentience. Whispers echoed through the cabin, voices from forgotten realms that spoke of ancient prophecies and cosmic entities that slumbered in the spaces between stars. My grip on reality loosened with each passing mile, and the boundary between the tangible and the intangible blurred. I questioned my own sanity as the road twisted and turned in ways that defied the laws of physics. The car became a vessel hurtling through the corridors of the unknown, a ship navigating the turbulent waters of a cosmic sea. Time lost its meaning, and the concept of night and day became a meaningless distinction. The only constant was the oppressive darkness that enveloped everything. I felt like a wanderer in a surreal dreamscape, a lone soul adrift in a realm untouched by the laws that governed the world I once knew. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices that spoke of forgotten truths and eldritch horrors that lurked just beyond the veil. Visions of monstrous entities flashed before my eyes, amorphous beings with eyes that glistened like dying stars, and grotesque forms that defied description. I questioned whether these were hallucinations born of a fractured mind or manifestations of the cosmic horror that permeated the midnight highway. A foreboding presence loomed over the car, an invisible force that seemed to guide my journey. I was no longer in control, a mere puppet dancing to the whims of an enigmatic puppeteer. The road twisted and turned with malevolent intent, leading me to destinations unknown. The highway became a labyrinth, a maze of existential dread where every turn held the promise of both revelation and damnation. In the heart of the cosmic tempest, I encountered other lost souls, phantoms of the midnight highway. Their eyes reflected the same terror and confusion that plagued my own soul. We exchanged hollow glances, wordless acknowledgement of our shared descent into the abyss. Together we were passengers on a ghostly voyage, navigating the currents of an otherworldly sea. The boundaries between dreams and reality blurred, and I found myself in places that defied logic. A city of towering spires made of crystalline structures that pulsed with an otherworldly glow. A forest of spectral trees that whispered secrets of forgotten epochs, and a desolate wasteland where the remnants of ancient civilizations lay entwined with the bones of cosmic beings. As I traversed these surreal landscapes, the whispers became more coherent, the voices weaving a tapestry of cosmic lore. They spoke of ancient gods that slumbered in the void, of realities that bled into each other, and of the fragility of human perception. I felt like a witness to truths that transcended mortal understanding, a spectator in the grand theater of the cosmos. The midnight highway became a threshold, a gateway to realms beyond the comprehension of mortal minds. I questioned whether I was still alive or if I had become a mere echo in the vast emptiness of the cosmic void. The car was no longer a vessel of transportation but a conduit through which I traversed the corridors of the unknown. The highway stretched into eternity, a serpent winding through the cosmic expanse. I glimpsed fleeting images of eldritch landscapes, celestial gardens where the flora radiated with ethereal light, and desolate realms where the very fabric of reality unraveled. It was a kaleidoscope of cosmic wonders and terrors, a journey that defied the limits of mortal perception. I became aware of a distant presence, an entity that watched from the shadows. Its eyes, vast and all-seeing, bore into the core of my being. I felt exposed, naked before the gaze of an incomprehensible intelligence. The whispers reached a crescendo, a symphony of voices that hailed the arrival of an ancient force. "You have ventured far, mortal," the voices intoned in unison. "Your journey is a testament to the fragility of reality. Embrace the truth that lies beyond the veil." The car hurtled forward, the midnight highway converging into a singularity of blinding light. The cosmic tempest swallowed everything, and I felt myself unraveling, dissolving into the very fabric of the unknown. The boundaries of self blurred, and I became one with the cosmic tapestry. In that moment of transcendence, I glimpsed the true nature of the midnight highway. It was a conduit between worlds, a bridge that connected the mundane and the cosmic. The highway was a living entity, a manifestation of the cosmic order that guided souls through the labyrinth of existence. As the blinding light subsided, I found myself back on the familiar asphalt of a desolate highway. The car idled, the engine purring in the silence that followed the cosmic tempest. The gas gauge, once dangerously low, now read full, as if the midnight highway itself had replenished the lifeblood of the car. The landscape, though still shrouded in darkness, felt different. The air no longer hummed with the oppressive energy of the unknown. The spectral trees and eldritch landscapes were replaced by the monotonous scenery of a typical night drive. Had it all been a hallucination, a fever dream born of exhaustion and solitude? As I continued to drive, the memories of the cosmic odyssey began to fade like fragments of a fading dream. Doubt gnawed at the edges of my consciousness, and I questioned the sanity of my own perception. The midnight highway, with all its cosmic wonders and terrors, seemed like a distant mirage, a fleeting glimpse into the ineffable mysteries that lurk beyond the veil. The road ahead stretched into the familiar infinity of a night drive, the headlights cutting through the darkness with a reassuring glow. The radio crackled to life, a mundane station playing familiar tunes. I glanced at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the eyes of cosmic entities gazing back at me, but there was nothing but the emptiness of the road behind. As the first light of dawn painted the horizon, I emerged from the depths of the cosmic abyss. The midnight highway, with all its enigmatic splendor, had released its grip on my reality. I was once again a traveler on a mundane road, the memories of the surreal journey fading like wisps of smoke. The experience left me with a profound sense of awe and dread, a realization that the boundaries of reality are far more fluid and malleable than the human mind can comprehend. The midnight highway, with its cosmic wonders and eldritch horrors, had become a distant memory, a tale to be recounted with a shiver on nights when the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own. As I drove into the sunrise, the events of that fateful night lingered in the recesses of my mind, a haunting reminder that the unknown is not bound by the limitations of human understanding. The midnight highway, with its cosmic secrets, had become a part of me, a story etched into the fabric of my existence, a story that whispered of the cosmic mysteries that lurk in the uncharted territories of the night.